Super Mario Maker 2 kind of seems like a game you can play forever. And Kevin, you and I got to play it for about 90 minutes.
Yep, and I definitely agree with you. Even in that fairly brief time, I think we only scratched the surface of all the options and just the sheer amount of things you could do with that.
Yeah, I've sort of been thinking of the first Super Mario Maker as like the introduction to the book, and then Super Mario Maker 2 is the book of everything you can actually do. And there was already so much to do in the first game, but the second game has just completely blown it out of the water, starting with the fact that the second game actually has a story mode this time.
It does. It's not quite like a traditional story mode that you'd find in a Mario platformer. Like, you're not going from one world to another on your way to rescue Princess Peach. It seems more like a structured way to guide you through all the different, like, pre-made courses that are in the game.
Yeah, it seems like a good way, maybe if you're not so sure about building levels yourself, it seems like a good way to sort of get introduced to all the new mechanics. Like the first couple levels we play, they show you the new Angry Sun, they show you the red-blue switches, so if there's maybe some Mario elements you're unfamiliar with, you can jump into story mode and learn how they work.
It definitely seems like there's a lot of freedom to how you approach the story mode too, because the ultimate goal of it is to gather up enough funds to rebuild Princess Peach's castle, but you could decide like which part of the castle you want to build first, and to get coins you'll need to take on jobs from our new favorite character, Taskmaster Toad.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the name Taskmaster Toad, but that's what they call him.
But yeah, each of the jobs amounts to a traditional side-scrolling Mario level, and some of them have certain clear conditions that you need to meet.
Yeah, that's one of the new things they introduced, is now these levels have clear conditions as opposed to just getting to the flagpole. When we were playing around in build mode, for example, I could set a condition to be like, you have to defeat this Magic Koopa in order to finish the level. That already makes my mind spin with possibilities about the levels you could build, right? Because you could have something that's like, go to the four corners of this map, collect these 4 items, and then you can clear the level. Almost like a 2D Super Mario 64 course.
You could also make a level where you aren't supposed to jump at all.
You can make yourself unable to jump. Or you can even set a clear condition that's like, once you jump, you can't touch the ground again. So let's just talk about that. Let's talk about the course building, because it really is the meat of the game. And like we're saying, the amount of things you can build in this game is absolutely insane. Of course, the first thing I had to do was build just like some sort of nightmarish, punishing level, because that's all I want to make with this. With the first game, my brother and I would like build courses and just challenge each other with them. And now we can actually make them together because there's that new co-op feature when you're building levels. We didn't get a chance to try that, but I'll be honest, I'm a little bit iffy now on doing co-op building, now having played Mario Maker 2 using the Pro Controller to build. Obviously, when you're doing platforming, the Pro Controller feels fine. But when you're building a course, you really want to use the touchscreen controls. Yeah, the Pro Controller controls just did not feel good. I did not think they were very intuitive. I definitely ended up like dragging things farther than I wanted, or even just navigating the menu was a little weird. So if you're going to build, definitely recommend using the touchscreen controls.
I would definitely recommend looking into a stylus for your Switch too.
Yeah, for sure.
But that said, there are some quality of life improvements as far as how you can build courses now. Well, in the original game, you'd say have to shake certain items or enemies in order to change their state. And while that was very charming, I can imagine that it wouldn't work very well at all with the Pro Controller. So now instead of having to do that, you could just tap on an enemy, and then there's all these different options that you could choose from.
Yeah, it's like a tap and a hold if you want to adjust that stuff. One of the things you can adjust that's really cool is if you drop in the Angry Sun, who I'm sure I'll mention a couple times in this preview, you tap him, you can turn him into a moon. When you do that, you unlock the night variations of all the courses, which are then, those add even more possibilities. The jungle level becomes like poisonous level. The one-up mushroom becomes a poison mushroom.
Yeah, 90 minutes was not nearly enough to do everything I wanted to do with that game.
No, not at all. But it was enough to build an evil course. If you're interested in checking out that level we built, you can certainly check out that gameplay on GameSpot. We've got that whole course building and course completion up.
Let's go!
Speaking of beating courses, though, we should talk about the online component of this game.
Definitely. So, like the original Super Mario Maker, you're able to jump online, you could share your own courses, or you could play other people's courses. This time around, you could like search for courses using tags. So that makes it a bit easier to find like the certain type of course you want. Like say you want to find one that focuses all on speed running or one that's set in like a specific theme. It's much easier to filter out the courses you want to play this time.
One of the new features with the online mode too that I really like is the endless mode, I believe they call it, where it's literally pick a difficulty level and we're going to feed you as many games as you can handle, as many courses as you can handle until you lose. So like I said before, this is a game that you can kind of play forever. That's a mode that's immediately built for it right out of the gate.
I can only imagine how much of a nightmare that's going to be once the game is live.
Yeah, because even in what we played, there were some really difficult, tricky courses in there. One thing I really enjoyed too is any course you can take on cooperatively. Doesn't matter if it was built intentionally for it or not, you can go back and play it with up to 4 players.
Yep.
Just that completely changes the way you're going to play the level. And not just because you can, of course, bounce off each other's heads and that sort of thing. But yeah, it completely changes the way you play a level. You can work together to take out enemies, or one of you can, I don't know if you could really distract Bowser, but one of you could, focus on maybe getting around him while another can pelt him with fireballs. Like, it completely opens up new ways to play the level you already beat.
It feels a lot like the multiplayer in the new Super Mario Bros. Games.
Yes.
Because they're all sharing the same screen. You could all inadvertently get in each other's way. And if somebody dies, they come back, they float back in a bubble, and you have to pop them to bring them back into the game.
And of course, you can also build courses that need to be beaten by multiple people, right? There's certain tricks you can do as far as whether it's bouncing off each other's heads or carrying multiple items, whatever it is, you can build a course that demands 4 people in order to actually finish it.
Yep, and that's another area where adding clear conditions completely changes the whole game. Because we played one level where we needed to collect all 99 coins in order to before we could be able to finish it.
We all had to be Cat Mario to climb on the fences, and so yeah, it was just an absolute scramble to like grab the bells, avoid being eaten by like the big purple cheeps or whatever they are, and then collect them all. And it was completely crazy. I think I grabbed the last coin and I just like sprinted to the end. I didn't even bother to pop anybody else. I was just like, we're done. We've finished. We're out of here. While we didn't try any of them ourselves, you can also build a level that's designed competitively.
Yes.
You can have levels that say, okay, get to the end, but have the most coins, or just be the first to the end. And so that's just another option, again, for playing these courses. You can play them by yourself, you can play them with friends, you can play them against friends, you can build all your own. The amount of content here is insane, and yeah, honestly, it seems like something you can kind of just play forever.
Yep, basically.
Just get an endless supply of courses and play them, in different variations.
And it's still very impressive to me just how easy it is to like learn and actually use all the tools at your disposal.
Yeah, the first game taught me a lot about Mario that I didn't know you could do before. And I'm really excited to learn new things like that with the sequel and to try out those new tricks and to build these courses, because the stuff we saw was just so inspirational and so creative. I cannot wait to make more of it myself.
Absolutely, me too.
Well, we'll get to do that on June 28th. The game heads to Nintendo Switch. It's coming in 2 different versions. One is the $60 version, another is $70. The $70 one comes with a year of Nintendo Switch Online. Normally that costs $20, so you're saving $10 there. And if you're already a member, it stacks onto your current membership, which is pretty nice. So stay tuned to GameSpot for more Super Mario Maker 2 coverage. I know I definitely can't wait until it finally comes out.